yourself, know you fed up. Get your study on. All praise be to God. Stay read up. God never let up. Everyone that I run already know what I'm about. Build heaven on earth. Gotta catch up. Come back on me now, what about me? Be with the 10,000 if we do be free. Man, if we don't produce, man, what we gon' eat? What we gon' eat? Yeah, man, what we gon' eat? What we gon' do if they cut off the street? If they block off the truck, tell me what you gon' eat? What you gon' drink? See what I mean? What you gon' do? What I'ma do? I'ma stomach some food. Don't be a fool. That's Farrakhan lead. I'm in tune. Stay in the street, change a couple goons. I'm pushing the word, say I'm pushing the message. I'm blessing the game. Allah already blessed me. Find a car, new code, we got you, can't lose. Only $2 get news you can use. Heaven or hell, those conditions you choose. Come to the mouth, these are things we can prove. Get your money, man. Get your bread up. Gotta do for yourself, know you fed up. Study on. All praise be to God. Stay read up. Never let up. Everyone that I'm around already know what I'm about. Build heaven on earth. Gotta catch up a lot.
What is going on, family? What is going on, family? On today's show, we're going to be talking about today. On today's show, we're going to be talking about how the coronavirus is affecting our money, how the coronavirus is affecting our money, and what we can do to make sure that we protect what we have. Because we got a lot of people who are coming down who are condemning people for making the wrong choices and talking bad about folk. But the truth is, that family, that we ain't trying to hear that today. You know, we want to know solutions, okay? And so today we're going to talk about some of the problems, but we're also going to talk about some of the solutions to these problems, okay? And I think it's very important that we understand how the coronavirus is affecting our money, how we can put ourselves in position to not be at risk like this again, and what we can do from this point on to move forward so that we can prepare for the future that is coming tomorrow. And I just want to use this show to bring some context to some of the stuff that is going on. You hear stuff like the Federal Reserve cut rates. You hear stuff like federal rates are being cut. You hear stuff like the Federal Reserve is pumping money into the market. You hear stuff like, a Treasury proposal from Trump and administration by giving everybody money to be able to get through the coronavirus time. We're just going to talk about those, some things to be aware of, some things to pay attention to, so that you don't feel like you're out in the wilderness with the information that we have. So what I want you to do, I want you to like, share, post, repost this information, because it's going to be really good information on our show. So just in case you guys don't know me, my name is Jake Tayler Jacobs, and this is the Jake Tayler Jacobs Show on the Brother Ben X podcast, the baddest podcast in the land. As you guys can see, I got my cap on tight. I'm hiding my beard or whatever this is behind the mic because I ain't went to go see my barber. Even though my barber used gloves and my barber, real sanitized, but you just don't know. He may have used clippers on somebody that had, some symptoms, and you just don't know if you can, mess with them. You know what I mean? This is probably one of the biggest times in the world where people cough and you just like, there's a meme that said people don't even say God bless you no more. Somebody sneeze and cough, they just like. So we're going to talk about that today. And I think it's very important that not only do we talk about what's going on so we can get a grasp on things that are going on, but we're going to talk about these solutions so that you can make sure that you put you and your family in the best situation so that you can win. Okay. So if you guys are ready to get going, I'm excited to always share with you guys. Some of you guys are on my Instagram, some of you guys that are here on the what they say, on the face and the YouTube. We're going on. Oh, here goes some fun stuff, y'all. I just started putting the show on YouTube, and we made 50 cents already. We made 50 cent already. We made 50 cent already. And so I'm excited that we made some change already on the show. That means we're doing some good stuff, and some people are having their lives change. So let's get into it. So how the coronavirus is affecting our money, what we all are coming to see, and it's not big, but it is big. It's how epidemics and things that we cannot see can affect the sanity that we have as a collective whole. And I am going to say that you should be worried, and if so, don't allow anybody to tell you how you are supposed to feel during this point in time. You got a lot of people are saying, oh, you ain't supposed to think that way. You got to think like a boss. You got to get in the market. You got to get gritty when the market go down, because this is when everybody get rich. And those are the same people that's not going to have any money after the coronavirus epidemic. And this is a real deal. It's a real thing. And I think it's very important that we understand how real this thing is. And we're not just talking about the effects that it has, just the virus itself. We're talking about the effects of the contagious, negative, a hopeless type of mentality. This contagious feeling of feeling helpless. And I want to be able to bring light to you on ways that you don't have to feel helpless during this point in time. And we should send a prayer for people that can't go to work and they're not on salary. They're on hourly. This is an epidemic that is indeed real. This is something that is serious. And those of you that have platforms, those of you that have people that are followers, people that are listeners, those of you that have influence, we should not be mocking people. And like Brother Ben says, telling people how bad they're doing and how much you are right. This is the point in time where you show some humanity and you give solutions to people's problems so that we can, as a collective whole, we can do better together. That's the whole deal. We want to learn how we can do better together. And it's going to force us to have a sense of heart and a sense of responsibility of helping people, like we say that we do, be able to find solutions. And so here are some of the things that when it comes to how the coronavirus is affecting our money. So let me share the screen here. Boom, share the screen. Let me go to Federal Reserve. So the very first thing that happened, and this was like maybe 6 days ago. This is like 6 days ago. The biggest thing that happened about 6 days ago. Let me make sure that this is right. If you guys can see the screen, just let me know on the show if you can see the screen. If you cannot see the screen, just let me know that you can't see it or it's too small, so I can make sure that I have everything in line. For those of you guys that are watching Facebook and YouTube live on the show, I just want to make sure that you guys can see what I'm looking at, so that or I can make it bigger so that you'll be able to see a little bit bigger. I just need you to let me know so that I can do the right thing. What's going on, Instagram family? You guys can't see what I'm looking at, so I wouldn't expect for you all to do that. It's small. Okay, thanks, Darius. Boom. There we go. I appreciate that, Darius, for getting on here and letting me know that it is indeed small. And so here we go right here. So what's going on? I just want to bring some light. I want to bring some light to what is going on right now at this moment, so that we're not in fear. Okay, I don't want us to be in fear about what's going on. I want us to feel superior. I want us to feel encouraged. I want us to feel empowered. I want us to feel informed, enlightened, and ready for what's to come. So we're not, that we're not a victim to anything else that is going on. Okay, so I just want to make sure that we all are on the same page when it comes to this, so that we can be able to move forward. Okay, so as we're reading this right here, we're able to see with the Federal Reserve 6 days ago, the Federal Reserve, which is the Federal Reserve Bank of New York, on Thursday, they took steps to inject more than $1.5 trillion into the market in a bid to try to calm investors who are fearful of economic impact of the coronavirus. So stocks briefly paired their steep losses Thursday afternoon. So what happened was Thursday, 6 days ago, the Federal Reserve, they went in, injected a bunch of money into the market to try to stabilize the market. So let me just bring it easy for you to understand. That means that everybody was in a state of paranoia. So when people are in a state of paranoia, we all go in, start pulling our monies out of the market. What we don't really understand when it comes to the market, just kind of in detail, I'm not a market investor, but I understand how it works. The market is made up of confident investors. So when investors are not confident, what's going on, cousin Lotus? So just in case you guys don't know, I call everybody my cousin, everybody's family in some form or fashion. So what happens is that the market is made up of the it's called the trust, the credibility, and the confidence of the investors. So when the market, the investors, which are us, when we lose confidence in the market and everybody gets scared, we begin to pull our money out. When we begin to pull our money out, that money now devalues the market because the money's getting pulled out, and it causes a state of paranoia when it comes to the marketplace. So when it comes to you investing in the market, what I will say is if you intended to be there for the long haul, if everybody just kept their calm, we would be okay. But the truth is that's not how it happens. And so what's going on here is that because the strength and the confidence in the market shrank, people began to start taking money out, market began to crash, market makers began to start moving the market. And that's typically what happens. People with big funds of money, they then start trying to move the market. So they bring about fear to the marketplace and to the media to get common stock people to get out of deals so that it drops the cost or the value of the company. And these bigger companies go and buy bigger portions at a discounted rate by weathering the market, which means creating the weather of the market. So if you're in the market, what I will say is that you're already in there, and try to weather the storm. And we got strategies on that, which you can do at a later time. So that's what the reserve did. The reserve, literally, Federal Reserve literally dumped 1.5 trillion dollars into the market. So the question is, where does the money come from? Where does the 1.5 trillion dollars, where does that money come from for them to be able to dump money into the market? Well, the money comes from out of nowhere. They literally print money. They take money that didn't exist, they dump it into the marketplace to pump up the value of the stocks, pump up the value of the marketplace to look like the market is increasing in value, and it makes confident investors go back and start buying back these stocks because they see the value of the marketplace going up. That's called an injection. That's called a pump. So what happened, the Federal Reserve pumped money into the market to try to bring about confidence back into the investors so the investors can stay put or people can come back into the market. And so the problem is that the money was literally created from thin air. The money did not exist. It was not there. It was like it didn't exist. And so because the Federal Reserve printed $1.5 trillion, it's counterfeit, absolutely, cousin Charles, because the government printed fake money. It didn't exist. It's not backed by anything to try to infuse the market. Now that money is in the marketplace. Now, what happens when that money is in the marketplace? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to play real quick. I'm going to play a clip. I'm going to play a clip from from what I put on Instagram, and we're going to go over that so that you can see kind of what is going on for yourself. If you're paying attention, you're watching the show, I want you to put inside the chat if you're getting value. Let me know that you're getting some value from this, so that I can continue to be happy, and so that I can feel confident that you guys are understanding what's going on. I just want to make sure that you guys know what's going on. Okay. So what we're going to do, we're going to close out of this, and then I'm going to share my screen. We're going to go and share my screen, and we're going to go to what did I put up on social media 2 days ago. This is now, how many days ago is this? I put this up 4 days ago on social media. On 4 days ago, when this was about to happen, I literally put up what was going to happen next in the market, okay? And the reason why I put this up is because I wanted you to be aware of what is going on so that you don't get put aback and put at shock, because it's not doing right, okay? All right. Let's get to it. So it says, y'all know what this new coronavirus bill taxes are about to rise, right? So I got this going on right here. And the next slide says the Federal Reserve tried to inflate the market with, at the time, I had a record of $500 billion to stabilize the loss. And when they injected the money, like I said before, it didn't work. This is 4 days ago. And I'm telling you what's about to happen 4 days ago. So what happens is the reserves begin to tell the banks to keep lending money because they will back if the market crashes. So let me tell you what that means. Let me bring that to attention so that I can tell you what that means. What that means is that when a reserve pumps money into the market, they're trying to give people the confidence to keep what? To keep utilizing the market, to have confidence in the market. And what's happening is the Federal Reserve, they're printing this money and telling the banks to continue to lend. So the reason why they're telling them to continue to lend, this was 4 days ago. So I predicted a federal a cut in tax rate 4 days ago was about to happen. This is 4 days ago. So when I show you this right here, this is me 4 days ago, predicting what just happened literally 3 days ago. So the day before the Federal Reserve cut the tax rate, I literally predicted that the Federal Reserve would literally have to create some type of tax cut that will keep people engaged and want to continue to borrow money from the market. So the reason that they do that is because they want to keep giving people confidence to borrow money from the bank. The problem that I have with this strategy is that it's creating a dependency factor. The reason why I'm saying it's creating a dependency factor is because you already can't work. They drop rates to encourage more people to borrow so that you can be enslaved or indebted to them when the market comes back up. So the point of them dropping is to give people confidence to keep borrowing because they know we don't have the reserves. And because we don't have the reserves, they're going to encourage us to borrow money that we don't have so that we get through this rough and trying time. So by the time we get out of the reserve, we're indebted even more to the very institution that literally created the problem with fake money. And the point that I make is that this is exactly what Pharaoh did to the Israelites, to the Canaanites, and the Egyptians when Joseph told Pharaoh that a plague was coming. And when he told Pharaoh, you're going to have 7 years of harvest, 7 years of a plague, he knew a plague was coming. And what he did, he taxed every single farmer 20% during the 7 years of harvest. And then he made them pay him money to get the food back that he taxed them. Then when they ran out of money, then they gave them their livestock. When they ran out of livestock, then they gave them the land. When they ran out of land, then they gave them themselves. They began to work for that government and became enslaved to that government because the very problem that they created. And that's why we're dealing with what we're dealing with. So literally, family, 4 days ago, I predicted that something was going to happen. So, but anyone that knows real finance, this right here says anyone that knows real finance, you'll know that when the banks default, the reserve will make the government help with the bailout, which will force us taxpayers to take the hit. Jake, family, cousin, what do you mean by that? What I am saying is Yes, there are people who need government assistance. I'm not saying that that is a bad deal. But what I'm saying is the Federal Reserve knew what was going to happen. They knew for a fact that the money that they pumped into the market would not suffice enough to bring the confidence of a virus that people have no idea about. So they infuse money into the market, making the government putting force on the government to have to come up with some type of government bill to fund money or give money to the public. And let me tell you something, nothing given from the government comes without some type of reprieve. There is some type of snake in the grass. There is some type of I scratch your back, you scratch my back deal that is going to happen. Why? Because the government cannot print money, only the Federal Reserve can. So the fact that they're using money, their reserve, they're either using debted money or they're using money from taxpayers to be able to fund and to give stipends for the coronavirus outbreak, to give people confidence to continue buying in the market, which is pretty much like debt money. And what's going to happen is, just like I said in this presentation, is that the taxpayers are going to take the hit, because the taxpayers are going to have to pay the price of an inflation on the dollar. We're going to have to pay the price of higher taxes later to make up for the fact that the government had to come up with literally come up with a treasury proposal that will deliver $500 billion to Americans starting at April. That would deliver $500 billion starting in April. Well, why would the government give $500 billion starting in April? Well, we all know that taxes is what moves the government. We all know that. We know taxes what make buildings and do all that stuff, but taxes also what funds the United States government. There are other endeavors that they have. Okay, so with that being said, the point that I'm making is that money that the government is giving out is going to come with a price, because there is so much money inflated into the market. It's going to cause inflation, the value of the dollar, to diminish, which means it's going to take more of your dollars to purchase the same thing when the market course corrects. And then not only that, the taxpayers are going to have to pay for the delivery of $500 billion to the marketplace when the government begins to put this into other deals. And absolutely right, Chris. You said a military and so many other entities. Absolutely. And so that's what's going to happen. But it's going to put more pressure on us, the taxpayers. So don't be surprised if we see tax rates go up in the next coming year, especially after election, to make up for all of this stuff that the government's having to shell out of their pocket. They're probably borrowing money from the reserve. They're probably borrowing money from other governments to be able to help out with this epidemic. And it's going to cause for us to get more and more and more in debt as a community, as a country, which is going to put all of the pressure back on us, the taxpayers. So, Jake, what do you mean by this? What are you trying to tell us? What's the point that you're trying to make? The point that I'm trying to make is that now in this time more than ever, versus bashing ourselves for making this decision versus that decision, what we need to understand is that there's going to be a lot of economic changes that are going to happen. The financial structure of what we knew coming up to this point is going to be changed forever. No different than what happened when recession happened, when a depression happened. Things and bills began to be put in place that's going to force a lot of more of the responsibility on the taxpayers. When you think about high income earning individuals of the United States, they're going to pay a higher penalty when it comes to taxes. Middle class is going to take a bruising, and the government, the poor in the disenfranchised community is going to continue to struggle, because it's going to make it harder and harder and harder for us to get dug out this hole, because we're accepting this bill. And so what's happening is What's happening is we're robbing Peter to pay Paul to fix a situation to inflate the market. And the whole purpose of inflating the market is to bring confidence back to the American people. And the moment that confidence is brought back to the American people, the faster it takes into effect for us for the value of our dollar to go back to go back to being worth something. But as long as the a people is not confident about their dollar, that's what loses the value of that dollar, especially when it comes to doing certain things abroad. So it's very important that one, we keep our even keel. The next thing is very important that we understand that all of these things that are about to happen will, in fact, it will change how we know America today. And I also said in a video on my Instagram 3 or 4 days ago when I talked about we're going to be going into a new world of e-commerce more than ever. There's going to be a lot of transactions that are happening online, and all this does is literally building the fort. If you look at e-commerce companies like Amazon, their stocks are rising because there's more work being done, and people are usually literally taking things delivery from their truck to their house to avoid being around public. What's going to happen is you're going to start to see a lot more of these things begin to evolve when it comes to our dollar, when it comes to this. And so the biggest thing that we have to understand, we have Chris Brown on the Instagram family. He says funding those entities tax rates will increase at the end of fiscal year 2020 after election. 1% taxpayers have been given a break. Poor middle classes are paying heavy taxes now. Just imagine 2021. Absolutely. And you're talking to somebody that's going to be that. And so the infrastructure of the economy, the infrastructure of the dollar, all that's going to be moving to more digital currency, more digital e-commerce, more things that are going to be transactions that's going to be automated through the internet as we know it today, going into a new market. So here's the deal. Here's the point. If you want to take advantage of the new wave, the next wave is going to be online. Let me tell you, if people that have made money online right now, that have positioned themselves, I'm telling you right now, there are going to be a lot of services, a lot of things that are going to go up in efficiency by using online because of the fear of being seen in public. So you have China, you have Singapore, you have a lot of these countries that have already been online, more digital than American people are. So a lot of the career fields, a lot of the places when it comes to technical trades, when it comes to learning things, you want to be preparing yourself for this new America, for the new market, and positioning yourself so that you can be able to make money along this curve. I know our industry, our company has literally skyrocketed because we positioned ourselves before this happening to be a technology-based company, to do all of our clientele, all of our appointments, to do everything that we want through technology, to be able to create more efficiency of the company so that we can be more valuable. And so like Cousin Muhammad said, coding. Charles Muhammad, coding, all these things when it comes to using electronics, creating better infrastructures. A lot of jobs are about to be open and a lot of jobs are about to be closed because of the new dynamic and a new shift and a new wave that's coming into the market. So the coronavirus has officially affected our money and it will not be the same again. It may even get better, but the value of the dollar has just been diminished beyond imagination, and we won't really feel it until 2021 when the tax rates change, when we really feel the effects of inflation. We're going to see it at its all-time high. So while everything is discounted right now, while you can save your money, while you can prepare yourself for the new coming day, the best thing that you can do right now, if you're going to get government money from the government, is try not to panic. We will be fine, I promise you. But the world as we know it tomorrow will not be the same. And you want to use that money in a better position to maybe even purchase some things like developing a new skill set, something online, so that you can be able to position you and your family to be able to properly make the transition into the new world. Just like every era, every age, every era had a time limit, and at the end of the time limit, the new old world that we knew dies, and a new world that we know comes. So it happens over and over again, and this is not nothing new. If you study history, you can predict the future. So we know that there's a dying of an old era into a new era, and I don't find it ironic that the coronavirus is attacking our elderly family. I do not find it ironic that that the coronavirus is attacking our elderly family members, and I don't find that ironic at all. You see more deaths that are happening to the elder community, our baby boomers, and I feel like it has a lot to do with the new coming of the new age of the new era, and it happens time and time again. So I think it's very important that we understand this wave, we understand where we are, and understand that this is your time. This is the moment when eras change. There's a bunch of wealth made in new eras. There's a bunch of money made in new starts. And we got to stop thinking of the coronavirus as the end and start thinking of it as the beginning of our future. We got to start thinking of the coronavirus as a new start. I know things look gray, things look scary, things look very dark. But if you think about a seed is planted in darkness before it sprouts into the light. A seed is planted underground before it can build nutrients to be able to be fruit to many nations. And so right now, you got to see yourself being buried. You got to see yourself being buried. If you're being buried, that means that one day you come to the light. So before I get buried, I prepare for the burial so that the resurrection of the new life, of the new era, you can be able to be made free financially by not getting yourself in no mess. So the point I'm making, the government's giving handouts. Federal Reserve is giving handouts. They're giving free credit. They're giving mortgage payments. They're giving all those things. And it's going to force you to put yourself in bad consumer debt that's going to put you behind the curve. Listen, I am telling you, family, if you go and start borrowing money from the bank because they're offering low interest rates and you're getting consumer debt, you start purchasing things like more, like we're gonna get into that. I'm gonna show a video and I'm gonna commentate on the video. We start getting into things and we're falling into the trap of Pharaoh. Pharaoh wants to enslave us even more, going into the next generation, going into the new era. So if Pharaoh wants to wants to keep us indoctrinated into this debt slave going into the new era, they're going to create a mandate to in this new world, the new era, for us to have us to be working backwards to try to figure out how to get ahead. So be careful of these really low rates that they're giving you to borrow money, and in your money that's in the savings accounts that are in these CDs. Because the Fed rates dropped interest rates, you're going to see lower rates on your savings accounts and on your CDs, and we don't be surprised if you start to see more fees from these traditional banking institutions that's going to start charging you for housing your money there, that's going to start charging you for transactions, because with business accounts, they've already been doing it. You have a solid business account, they tax you for every transaction. And if you don't have a certain amount of money inside that savings reserve or that checking account, they tax you. So don't be surprised if they're going to be taking that to the independent person, to the common person, because that's something that you want to pay attention to. So Brandon Perry said, I've been telling everyone tech skills will be required in the future. Udemy, Coursera, community college certifications, all these things are going to be good in the progression of moving forward. I think it's very important. And one of our cousins on Instagram said, Great Depression since 1930s under FDR administration's fireside chats. People must go listen to those from FDR. It spoke of today. During the 1930s. So this is nothing that is new. We just have to start to prepare ourselves and look at this as an opportunity to be able to take advantage of the new market, take advantage of the new world. What we're saying is that now more than ever, there's no way that traditional education will ever be the same again after seeing that immediately these DISDs, these ISDs can immediately go online. Think about that. These ISDs that said it was so difficult to do online education immediately set up online education and had the teachers helping and aiding from home. So do not be surprised if you see a bunch of our ISDs going online, going hybrid, because they've literally just exposed themselves to much more efficient we can be. That they didn't want to be, but their hands were forced because of this epidemic. It's funny that state testing has been suspended easily. I thought state testing was required to be able to determine if you can move forward. It's funny that these state testings have now been suspended indefinitely. These are crazy times because there's going to be a new era. You have to prepare yourself for the new era so that you can position yourself for the rise of the new era. Okay. And so it's very important. Yeah, I am. Somebody, Chris, told me to talk about martial law. And I may have you come onto the show, Chris, to talk about martial law. I think that'll be something that's really cool. We can actually do that this week, maybe Friday. So I think it's very important for us to do that and to understand the importance of moving forward in that light. And so we understand that because there's a new wave, there's a new skill set that we have to learn. And going to our site, going to our course, the ABS Institute, we teach you how to create digital real estate online, how to build online businesses and position your businesses, even though they may be traditional person-to-person businesses, how to transition your businesses to creating more online spaces so that you can be able to do what you do even online. And even in my face-to-face field of financial services, we've been able to see an increase in efficiency and effectiveness from our financial firm by being positioned to be able to take advantage of the market as we know it today. So I think it's very important that we take advantage of what's going on. I think it's very important that we see the opening in the marketplace. I think it's very important for us to start looking within self and say, listen, in order for me to do for self, let me figure out where I am. Let me remember how I got where I am right now. Let me remember the situation that I am currently in. I don't like feeling the need of depending on the government. I don't like depending on the job to take care of me during this time frame. So let me use this moment as a learning moment and develop skill sets, because I know that the America that we know will never be the same again. You will see an introduction into AI technology. You will see an introduction in more online transactions. You will see an introduction in the pickup and the necessity of e-commerce. And if you do not get with the times, you will see your business and your companies as you know it is going to fall, and you may find yourself out of a job, and unemployment will be at its highest as it's ever been before it stabilizes again. So what I do want to tell you, to be encouraged. Be encouraged to know that this is not the end of us. This is just the end of a old era. This is the end of what we used to know. So do not be startled that this disease, this sickness is targeting our elderly families. Understand what is going on. Position yourself to be able to move forward, and don't allow the media or the marketplace to determine where you are in this place. Because what I will tell you is that I want you to be careful, especially when it comes to mortgages, because yes, those rates have gone down, but your fixed rates that you're in have not gone down. So if you're not in a position to be able to refinance because we cannot work, the banking institution is probably not going to suspend mortgages, because the Federal Reserve dumps so much money into the market. They dump so much money depreciating the value of the dollar. I would be surprised if the mortgages are going to be suspended, which is probably why the government is giving us those stipends, so that we can be able to cover our mortgages for a couple of months, so that they don't have to suspend mortgages, because the banking institution is going to have to be able to make their money back for literally printing so much money, deflating the dollar. The Federal Reserve, the common banks, they're going to have to find more money. And so that I do not be hopeful that the banking institution is going to cut you any breaks and cut you any deals. So you got to be prepared to position yourself in that way, because that's affecting our dollar, because of the federal rates, because of these things. What we are going to see more than ever, listen, family, please listen. What we're going to see more than ever, we're going to see the value of the dollar diminish. We're going to see it's going to take more dollars to purchase things. So do not be alarmed. Understand, because the government is giving us money, because the government is doing this, and the Federal Reserve forced its hand. For some of you guys that are new coming to the show, I'm going to go back at this real quick so I can show you on my Instagram. I literally 4 days ago said exactly what the government is going to do. I said exactly what the government was going to do, and what the government is doing with the Federal Reserve. They played it right into the government's hands. They literally pumped money into the market to literally create fake money that didn't exist. They pumped the money into the market to try to bring confidence back to the public. The public didn't buy it. and it failed. That pumping into the market absolutely failed. And because that pumping into the market failed, it forced the government to have to find money, a $500 billion bill, to have to find money to be able to dump into the market to be able to help our common people. And because it's helping us, the people, you got to know the government ain't just going to help us for free. It's going to come with some type of fee. It's going to come with some type of price. And I can promise you, you were going to see 2021 tax rates are going to be at a high. So if you're somebody above $100,000 a year, watch you. We're going to get crushed in the middle class. Upper middle class is going to get crushed. Poverty level is going to get crushed. And we're going to see a bunch of the big corporations. They're going to be able to kind of swindle through because they are creating, quote unquote, so many jobs. And so just watch. It's going to get bad before it gets great. But the best part about what it is that what we have going on right now is a simple fact that we have the ability to be able to be a part of the ushering of a new genre, of a new era. So finding trades, finding skills, going to our institutions like ours, the absinstitute.com, or texting ABS class to 555-888. You can find courses that are teaching you how to take your traditional business online so that you can participate in this new era, this new wave. We're going to see a lot of traditional businesses fall. We're going to see a lot of traditional business do massive layoffs because of what's happening. My father was a part of that in 2008 when we saw a big change in the marketplace. It will happen again. We will see high rates of mortgage fallout, and we're going to have more things on this show and on the God Economics Show that's going to give you strategies to try to help you get out of losing your mortgage and losing your home. But believe me, this is a play by the bank. They're going to try to get all the money that they can, and the reason that they're forcing the government's hand to give funding because the government can't print money. They have to literally use the funding that they have. And because they're dumping taxpayers' money or debt money into the market to try to pay us, I promise you tax rates, we're going to have to deal with that. Bank rates are going to go back up increasingly because the Federal Reserve cuts rates the way that they did. So I think it's very, 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 very important that we understand not to panic in the marketplace, understand that life as we knew it when it comes to a monetary value won't be the same. And let's start to position ourselves to take advantage of this next boom. Because I can promise you this. Remember, I'm saying this just like I called 4 days ago on my social media that the government is going to have to be forced to intervene, which is going to cause the taxpayers to pay more money. I can promise you this. If you pay attention and you listen to me, listen to your cousin, I can promise you one thing, that we're going to see probably the largest financial boom of any U.S. history. Boom. We're about to see the most money made. There's a transferring of the guards. There's a transferring of wealth. And you got to find out how to bring value to that world, how to bring value to that space so that you can be able to take advantage of the transferring of the guards. So this is something that is very, very, very important. Somebody said, how can we help you get you on a big bullhorn? I don't know. Somebody tell me. I don't know, but I'm telling you this right now because just like I predicted it 4 days ago, I'm predicting it again. Not only is there's a new change, a new era, we're going to see big things in AI. Listen, this is something I'm scared of. Not really scared, but I'm behind the curve on the AI stuff. Cryptocurrency, I'm not really a believer of that as much as I need to be because there's going to be more online exchanges happening because the value of the dollar is diminishing so much. You're going to see a lot more online transactions to keep the money digital. Because if you can keep the money digital, we don't feel that inflation happen as much as we do. So we got to make sure that we put us in. Oh yeah, he said big time. We're going to get there. We're getting there with the help of everybody. You need to you need to share this channel because I promise you, I'm going to be giving you guys updates. I'm going to be giving you guys strategies so that I can help position us as a people to take advantage of this new market. But I'm telling you, do not fall for the low bank rates for the banking institution. It was institutionalized. It was conjured up by the market makers. It was conjured up by the market makers to do it. So Brother Ben X says, someone said the interest rates are lowering. What do you think about that? That's exactly what I was just talking about, Brother Ben. Do not fall into the trap of low interest rates, because what they want to do, they want to increase more people borrowing money. This is the same exact thing that happened back when Moses took people, made people free from Egypt, from Pharaoh. What's happening is they're creating a balloon effect to where people are now leaning on and depending on a system to now they're going to be able to take advantage of it. So what I would say, I'm not a person who borrows from the bank. I've never borrowed from the bank. I have my own lending systems that we teach all of our clients how to become their own banking system, never utilizing the bank's money. But if you were to use the bank's money, I would be very careful to not utilize this money for frivolous things. If you can get interest rates extremely low and you know how to get in and you know how to get out from dealing with slave master, a MasterCard creator banks, then you may be okay. There are people that are doing well. I'm just saying, I am not an advocate for borrowing money from the banks. I'm an advocate of private lending. I'm an advocate for personal banking, using collateral assets like insurance. That's what I'm a believer of. That's what we teach. But if you were to do that, just make sure that you look both ways. You understand what you're getting yourself into, because it will get crazy. So that's the answer that I was answering by Brother Ben X with the interest rates lowering. Be careful, because anytime something happens like that, it's a bait. It's a bait. The Federal Reserve dropped rates for a reason. They want to increase lending. Why do they want to increase lending? Because during this time, they're forcing the government to what? They're forcing the government to give the American people more money. Taxpayers are going to pay more tax dollars. The government probably borrowed money from the Federal Reserve. I don't know that to be a fact, but that's typically what happens. They borrow money from the Reserve or from the international banks, indebting America more so that the Federal Reserve can be able to make more money and matriculate more money into the market, making more people more in debt. This is a system that has been used. It is not crazy. And do it. So one of our cousins here on the show said, we need to circle the wagon. Yeah, we need to do. He said, study bubble net fishing of humpback whales and capturing prey. Oh yeah, they should definitely do that, because that's exactly what happens. So what's happening is there's a trap that's been set, and if you do not pay attention, you're going to do the same exact thing that we did all throughout history. We indebt ourselves because the government situation, whatever you want to call it, it's not a conspiracy. It's a conspiracy. They see a problem, they know a problem, they feed into the problem, then they create the solution for the problem, and then tax us for the solution that they created. That's exactly what's happening to the money that the government is giving out. That's exactly what happened to the Federal Reserve with them lending money out, and that's exactly what is going to be long term. So be careful, because the net has been lowered. The bait is inside of it. And if you don't understand how to get out of traps, it's going to be hard as hell to get out. And we're going to see something that's going on. But I will tell you what I am doing. We're preparing our network of private lenders to be prepared to lend to the market, because unfortunately there will be a large housing burst from people not being able to pay their mortgage, which I believe that's why the bill is actually being pushed, so that they don't have to do a suspension of mortgage rates, because that means the banks won't be making money. The confidence of the American people of the dollar is going to go down, and we're going to dump into maybe lesser than a recession. We're maybe dumping into a depression with that. And so with that being said, what I'm going to do, I'm going to share a video really quick. I'm going to share a video really quick so that we're going to use that and kind of talk on it, and then we'll move on from there. I appreciate you guys coming into the Jake Tayler Jacobs Show on the Brother Ben X podcast, and we're dropping dimes today, trying to warn the American people of what's to come, the black folk of what's to come, and the American people on what's to come, so that we can properly prepare ourselves for what is to come. Okay, that's what we want to do. We want to properly prepare ourselves for what is to come. And what we're going to look up right now, I'm going to show you guys my screen on exactly what Brother Ben, myself, and my entire staff here have been teaching. And I want to kind of talk based on this, because we're about to see something happen. Like I said, it's going to be a huge transferring of the wealth. There's going to be a transferring of the guard. And typically what happens, people get taken advantage of during this moment, okay? People get taken advantage of during this moment. Hold on, Someone said, should we accept the $1,000 check supposedly coming from the government? I mean, I don't know for certain. Let me remove this from. I don't know for certain if we can deny it and push it back. I don't know for certain if we can deny it and push it back. But because once they issue that out, the bill has been accepted. The government, once the bill has been approved and accepted, us as a country, we are going to have to bite that bullet, even if the money comes out. So what I would do, I would take that money, use that money to be able to elevate you as far as mentally, or use that money if you're already mentally elevated to be able to invest in something to generate you, make that money work for you. I wouldn't buy crazy stuff. I would make that money go work for you so that you can generate more revenue or more money off that dollar, the money that they gave you, so that you can take advantage of this new wave that's coming. So what I would do, I would use that government's money, use it to up your education. I will go to the absinstitute.com. We have plenty of classes, plenty of courses on there that can help you take advantage of what may be to come, so that you can position yourself to do well. And that's what I would do. There's another question that said, where do you get money if you never borrow from the bank? When the private lenders lend, where will they get more money so that they can lend? Well, what I teach is that we fund our own banking system using insurance reserves. And using insurance reserves, we dump our money inside these reserves. The reserves grow 4% annually, guaranteed every year. So all of our clients and customers, all of our cousin clients that have put money with us over the last 5 to 7 years, not one person has lost money during this time. I repeat, not one person has lost a dollar during this moment in time. Matter of fact, a lot of our client cousins are calling in trying to figure out how they can put more money so they can be able to do it. And then we use that money inside that reserve. We use it as collateral to borrow from the insurance company to be able to fund our endeavors. And that's what we teach in our class. You need to go to ABS class, text ABS class to 55888 if you want more information. ABS class to 55888 if you want more information on how we do that. And the private lenders that we teach them how to utilize that reserve to be able to lend to people that are going to be wholesaling these properties. So it's best to get into that moment right now and going on. Cousin Creed says, should healthcare stop going to work? The men to provide for his household. Can you re-ask that question, cousin? I really didn't. I didn't get that question clear. It didn't come out clear. It probably was in your head clear, but it didn't come out clear. Regina says, do you think it's a good time to purchase a car? Well, like I said, I don't use the bank's money. I don't finance from the bank. I don't borrow money from the bank only because I don't like its predatory ways of the traditional banking system. And I don't like how they trap us and they create these systems where we're stuck in it. So my wife and I, just to let you know, my wife and I are looking for a car during this moment because rates are low. We can get steals, but we're not borrowing from the bank. We're using our own banking system that we use through our insurance reserves to be able to take advantage of these deeply discounted rates. Okay, should healthcare stop going to the Cree? I wish just repost that on Facebook so I can see what you're talking about. Okay. Until then, what we're going to do, I'm going to play this video right here, and we're going to do a little bit of commentary on it. This is by a guy named Grant Cardone, and we're going to see what he got to say. Hold on one second. I never know how to work the studio stuff when Brother Ben's not here. It's sad. It really is sad. Hold on one second. Let me do a little something.
$10 trillion has been lost and more will be on its way. I'm not wishing this on anybody. Look, guys, I have told you for, I don't even know how long. I don't know, 18 months, probably 4,000 or 5,000 points ago. Get out of the stock market. I've also told you. Now, I know there's a bunch of haters out there hating on me like, oh, yeah, you say anything long enough, you're going to be right. That's not true. I told you, sell your homes. I told you guys, if you got a house, sell it. There's going to be a housing crash in the U.S. of America. The stock market has already dropped. It will continue to drop. Where are you going to put your dough? Where are you going to put your money? You cannot leave it at the bank. I've been telling you that as well. Do not leave your money in the bank. You're going to be paid nothing. Actually, you're going to be charged to keep money at the bank going forward. This is a new economy, a new time. It is all the rules that you've been playing by. You've been punished by long enough. Now they just got stripped like a Band-Aid, just ripped right off your knee. Okay? It's a new time, folks.
So in short, with that being said, I'm not showing you guys that to scare, but that's something that I've been preaching on. You guys can go look at all of my content on social media, on Instagram, Jake Tayler Jacobs. You can go look at the Godconomics Show on the Brother Ben X podcast. You can look at here on this page, Facebook, YouTube. You guys are seeing for yourself what's happening, and we've been warning on this what's happening, and we want to continue to give strategy. If you go to ABS class, text ABS class to 555-888, we will be able to properly help you. We will be able to properly help you. If you want more information on how you can become your own private lender, text ABS class to 555-888. We're building a network of private lenders that we're going to teach you, train you on how to become your own banking system, how to become a private lender, and we're going to be able to, we're putting a network together to be able to help you take advantage of this new market, this new day that's about to come up, when this new era is about to rise, and you will be able to take advantage of this market for those that are looking to take their money from a risky area and to be able to learn how to utilize as collateral, double protected, double risk protected, and be able to participate on this next boom of the market. Okay. So, Raul, if you text ABS class to 555-888, we want to help give you strategies. We teach strategies. One of our team members will literally give you a call today to get you to be able to watch a video to start showing you how you can start finding a better place to start dumping your reserves. If you have money in savings accounts, they should not be there. You're not making any money, and the bank is literally taking making 6 to 28% on your dollar, on your money, and lending it to other people and overutilizing that money. This money shouldn't be in CDs. Your money should be in places that can give you guaranteed 4%. You can double collateralize. You can use access to that money, and the reserves that I am talking about allows for you to be able to use that capital to be able to take advantage of the market without ever liquidating that account. Listen to what I said. We're able to utilize that capital. So if somebody had 100,000, they wanted to utilize 50,000 so they can take advantage of a private lending deal. When they do that, they literally collateralize 50,000. The $100,000 that's still in the insurance reserve is getting interest still, even though they borrowed the money out. And those are strategies that you got to start learning, because our money as money is a debt. It is a depreciating asset, and it's not bringing us any value. We have to learn, family. We have to learn how we can position ourselves for this next boom, for this next wave, because I promise you, if you stay with us, if you stay connected, if you follow me on social media, if you go to Jake Tayler Jacobs on Instagram, if you follow me on Facebook, if you like and you share this screen on this show, you're going to be able to find more information on how we can teach you how you can stop being the consumer, and you can finally take advantage of the marketplace. But you cannot, I repeat, you cannot fall into the traps that America is trying to bring. You cannot fall into the traps of them making you feel like that this is the end of the world, because that's exactly what the market wants us to think. In all honesty, that's what we think. That's where we are. You got people that don't have jobs. My mom's a teacher. She doesn't have the job. So what's going on? A piece Dante. She does. She's teaching, and they let them stay out of the house, but and they're still getting paid. But what about the people that aren't getting paid? What about that? And that's the biggest piece that we got to get to, because if we do that, I promise y'all, we can be good together. So let me tell you something. My name is Jake Tayler Jacobs. This is the Jake Tayler Jacobs Show. If you want more information, you want to be up to date on what's going on, text ABS class to 555-888. We can tell you, give you more resources to be able to help you mitigate the risks that you have. We're able to help put you in a position so that you can never feel like you're feeling ever again. And follow me on social media so that I can be able to give you these dimes every day. Because I want to tell you something. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something, family. Follow me. Because let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. I love you. And there's absolutely nothing that you can do about it. This is the Jake Tayler Jacobs Show. And I wish and I pray that you listen, you learn, and you take yourself and you put yourself in a situation to where about you can be forever taken care of, so that you can be forever protected, and so that you can be forever good. I love you. There's nothing that you can do about it.
Muhammad Ali, Farrakhan, Malcolm X, now man, what about me? Get your money, man, get your bread up. Gotta do it for yourself, know you fed up. Put your study on, all praise be to God, stay read up, I never let up. Everyone that I'm around already know what I'm about. You heaven on earth, gotta catch up. Elijah Muhammad Ali, Farrakhan.